Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience while we were just working out a few little kinks to get us started. We're so happy to have you here this evening on a wonderful Wednesday night. We're going to talk about the new Occupational Therapy Doctorate program at the University of Vermont. We're really happy to have everybody here. So we're going to try to get you in and out in a half hour, actually 27 minutes since we're starting a few minutes late. So we'll go over brief introductions, who's here. We're going to dive into the new OTD program. We're so excited that it's coming to fruition and it's going to start. We can see it. It's going to start in the fall. And also just talking about some of the application and requirements to get into the program. If you don't have all the requirements, we have a really awesome new track in our post-bac pre-medical program that will help you get prepared to apply to our OTD program. So we're excited to share that opportunity with you as well. And then also just talking those deadlines, those logistics, and questions throughout the entire presentation. We will have time at the end if we haven't answered them, but please put your questions in the chat box throughout the presentation tonight. We're happy to have everybody here. My name is Nicole Willie-Fenton. I work in our professional and continuing education department, and I'm so happy to have Victoria with us. She is leading us as we launch this new program, and she's had lots of experience in occupational therapy, and I'm so excited to hear from her tonight as you will learn from her and hopefully in the program too. And also with us tonight is Ellie Meyer. I'm so happy that Ellie is here. She's going to talk a lot about that fieldwork experience. That's going to be such a key component of our program. So Ellie is going to lead that discussion for us as well and answer those questions. And I want to make note, we have Kristen on our OTD team. She's in the chat box for us tonight. Kristen will answer any questions that may come up throughout the presentation, and we'll also weave those questions into both Victoria and Ellie. The session is being recorded. I did want to share that, so we will make sure to get that out to everybody who's joined us. So, okay, here we go. Victoria, we're so excited. This is the second time you and I have had the chance to do this kind of info session. So, and that was probably in the fall. So we're getting so much closer. Applications are rolling in. This program is about to launch. It's so exciting to see. Maybe back us up a little bit. Tell us about what is the new entry-level OTD program.
More than happy to do so, and really want to welcome everyone who joined. And I really want people to know that let's make sure that if you guys have questions that you either, unmute yourself or put it in the chat box. I really want to make sure that this is interactive for folks. So if people are coming here with a lot of questions, this really is your time to ask those questions. We're going to go through some information, but we're going to take pauses along the way to make sure that we're capturing things that you guys might want us to dive into a little bit deeper. But as Nicole mentioned, this is the first OT program in the state of Vermont. And what that means is that there's genuinely a lot of excitement in the area with the community clinicians to finally have a program here. There's been a lot of desire to have an OT program in this state for a long time, and we're actually making it happen. So it's really exciting. The community really rallied together to help even design the curriculum and talk about what are some things that they think is really important, offer up different opportunities where students can go into their clinics to see different things. So that just kind of gives you a flavor of where we're at right now with this program, which is at the launching point, and there's just a lot of genuine excitement around it. So when we designed the program, the way that we did this is we actually held focus groups with all the OTs that wanted to participate in the entire state. And we pulled them in from all the different practice areas and asked questions like, what do you think should be in this OT program? What is something that you really remember when you went to school? What's something that you really didn't like when you went to school? We asked all of those kinds of questions. And from there, we came up with the curriculum. So the curriculum was really kind of designed with a lot of input from the folks right here practicing OT in the state of Vermont. And what we came up with is that we really wanted to have a strong science foundation, but we also really wanted to make sure that we recognize the creativity and innovative part of the OT profession. So that's the curriculum that we put together. And one part of our curriculum that we're very excited about is we're building this strong experiential learning component within the curriculum. And what we're working on right now, and because we're a developing program, everything that we're doing very much in the here and now, is we're reaching out to some of our community partners now, and we're saying, okay, we're going to have a class, a pediatric class, and we're going to be teaching school-based interventions. Can we get into your school system, and can we hold class there, and can we have students heading out into classrooms to see different things? Or, we're holding our class that is looking at aging in place. Can we get into your center, and can we hold class and then have our students talking and working with well elders, and then coming back and debriefing and then going back out again? So we're working on those connections right now, and we're pretty excited to be able to offer that, so that we feel as though the students every semester are in the classroom, but they're also really out in the community as well. So that's a very fun part of our program. And then another part of our program that I'm going to skip past field work, because I'm going to let Ellie talk about that. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the capstone project and experience. So our program is an entry-level doctorate program. And what that means is we have certain accreditation standards, as do all other doctorate programs, that we need to meet from an accreditation perspective. And one set of standards that we need to meet for a doctoral program is this capstone project and experience. And I have to say, for me, this is probably one of the most exciting parts of our program, because this is where students can come in and they can more or less create an individual part of the program, something that they're interested in. So some students may come in and they may have an exact idea of something that they really want to explore in detail. Other students may come in and have no clue. And other students may come in and feel as though they have a path and then completely change their path. And the beauty of the capstone project is we can accommodate all of those scenarios, and I know that they're all going to happen. So some students may come in and they may have a specific idea and say, you know what, I really want to learn more about sensory integration. I've heard about it. I've seen a little bit when I was doing some shadowing. I really want to become an expert in that. Or another student may come in and they may say, I really want to learn a lot more about aging in place and how to really help, doing home modifications and help adjust situations for elders. Others may come in and say, I really want to learn about advocacy. I really think I want to get into the legislative part of our profession. The beauty of this capstone project and experience is that all of those scenarios and even more can work. So what you're going to do is you're going to work with the capstone coordinator on your idea. You're going to develop a proposal that you'll be doing a comprehensive literature review and developing this proposal and saying, this is what I want to do for my capstone experience. You will defend that proposal. And then after you're done with your fieldwork, you'll actually go out for 14 weeks to a place that you chose with your mentor with your capstone coordinator, and you're going to kind of pick your own mentor, and you're going to go to that place for 14 weeks and become kind of like a mini expert. So you'll be leaving our program with a skill set, with the basic skill set, but then also this additional skill set that you've kind of dictated by yourself. So I personally think that's really cool, and I'm really excited about that aspect of our program. So I'm going to turn it over to Ellie to talk a little bit about fieldwork, and then I think we will take a pause and just see if we have any questions before we move on to anything else, because we're kind of giving a lot to you guys on this one particular slide. But let me let Ellie speak real quickly about fieldwork.
Thank you, Victoria. As Victoria had mentioned, we really value the ability for the students to make a connection between what they're learning in the classroom and applying it immediately, not waiting till the following summer to put it into practice. So beginning the first semester of their first year, there's going to be the opportunity to work in a mental health setting, seeing what OTs do in that setting, applying what you're learning about that particular area of practice in occupational therapy in that setting. The following semester, second semester, so spring semester, first year, there'll be a focus on older adults. We've got partnerships with people in the Burlington community for you to have hands-on experience in multiple settings where the older adult participates in life. The first summer of your first year will be a traditional level 1 field work where you will go for 2 weeks full-time to a site that is kind of mutually decided upon between your faculty mentor, your faculty members, yourself and your interest, and the academic fieldwork coordinator, myself. Then additionally to the 2-week fieldwork level 1, traditional level 1 fieldwork, you'll have the opportunity to have a cultural experience through the cultural immersion course. So again, that first year, very much in-person experience. Going into second year, we're going to add to that in-person opportunity a simulation, the use of simulation equipment to reinforce, again, another way to kind of maybe fill in some areas that you feel may not be areas that you are strong in, or you want to, maybe that's the area you want to focus in your capstone project. So simulation technology will be available to you to supplement your in-person experience that first semester of your second year. And then going into the second semester of your second year, the focus is on pediatrics, so you'll have, as Victoria said, the opportunity to go into daycares, pediatric clinics, some specialty outpatient opportunities, maybe to see, again, in person what OTs do with the pediatric population. And then in the summer of your second year will be when you'll go out on your level 2 fieldwork, your first of 2 12-week experiences full-time. That site will be, again, a site that will be a collaborative decision, your desires, your interests, where you want to go, in addition to your academic faculty members, your academic mentor, faculty mentor, and the academic fieldwork coordinator, so that you're going to go to a site that's not only going to be somewhere you will be able to, again, put into practice what you've learned, but it will prepare you for taking your boards, which is ultimately, again, what we really want you to be prepared for at the end of your full time with us, is feeling that you are competent to sit for your boards, and then clinically competent to be an entry-level practitioner when you finish the program.
Wow. Thank you so much. It's been really awesome to hear how farther along the development of the program is and how dynamic the program is. Thank you both so much for sharing so much detailed information. It looks like we've got Addie typing in a question. So maybe while we're, oh, there we go. Yeah. Could you, thank you so much, Addie, for asking that question. And the question is, could you talk a little bit more about the cultural immersion? Is that something that Victoria or Ellie might want to take?
Happy to talk about that. That's another part of the program that I'm really excited about. So we have this class, and I can't remember the exact title of it, but it might actually be cultural immersion. It's a class that's going to happen after your first 2 academic semesters here. So after the fall semester, spring semester. Then when the summer semester starts, this class is going to run from like 1 to 3 weeks. It's going to depend on whatever faculty member is leading this cultural immersion experience. We are hoping that if COVID is kind of under control, that for some students, this is turning into like a travel study kind of course, where we have a faculty member who's actually taking the students to a place where you're going to really explore occupational therapy and the cultural influences that may dictate how people engage in life the way that they engage. And so we're very excited about this particular course. As everyone can imagine, COVID is definitely something that we have to think about. And we've talked about that. If COVID certainly continues to impact things, we have other ideas that we are putting into place in terms of this particular course. Like we have a refugee resettlement group that's here in the Burlington area that we would be reaching out to. So we're going to have some local options, but we're also hoping to have some really innovative and different kind of travel options as well. But we don't have that figured out yet, but within the next 6 months, that will be figured out. So it's a really exciting idea, and it's something that I never had in school. But one of the reasons that I really wanted to have a course like this is because when I first started practicing, I was given the opportunity to go travel down to Honduras numerous times with a hand plastics group. And it was just completely eye-opening to me what it was like to practice in a place that was truly so different from where I grew up and where I was living. And it just gave me a whole new sense of appreciation for our profession and what our profession is like in different settings. And I just wanted to try to bring that somehow into the academic setting. So that's what that particular course is about. So I'm excited about it. So thank you for asking, Addie.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that from your own experience too, Victoria. It sounds really amazing. Aaron asked, and this of course is always a challenge in Burlington being a very vibrant college town, is there assistance with figuring out temporary housing?
Yeah.
Or for some of these components? Yeah.
So the thing about, and I'll answer and then Allie, feel free to add anything additional if you want to. Yes, there is assistance with that. There's a lot of sites where they have a list of different housing options that work for students. Some sites have some student housing as well. So that is one of the things that you'll be working very closely with Ellie on in terms of helping to figure out what are the housing arrangements for this particular site. Because Aaron, you're correct in your thinking. Some students may have their level 2 fieldwork placements here locally, but there's going to be a lot of students that are going to be all around the country. So it's a matter of finding where can I live here for 3 months and where can I live here for 3 months. But yes, we certainly will be helping people out with that.
Question. Thank you for asking that too, and you're welcome, Aaron, as well. Maybe I see Emma's typing a question. Let's just jump in. Emma, I'm giving you a chance to type that in. Oh, there we go. You're a fast typer. Are there opportunities to be employed part-time during our studies? Are there jobs, internships throughout the program or through the program?
So we don't have any internships at this point in the program. And I know Kristen is on, and I know she's in the chat box, and she's a little more aware of other opportunities that are available through the graduate school in terms of student employment and maybe possibly internships that way. And if we don't get a secure answer tonight, Emma, we can reach out to you via email with some more specific answers on that. But right now we don't have anything like that specifically through our program.
Great question. Thank you. And thank you, Kristen.
Yeah.
I know you're in the chat for us too. Let's keep going because we're flying through lots of great information tonight. I just want to make sure that we're kind of closing out more about the program if this is hopefully what you're intending on applying to. Do you want to just briefly touch on some of the requirements, Victoria?
I can. Yep. It's listed right here. The minimum cumulative GPA, prereq GPA. We did waive the 40 observation hours for this year because it's just way too hard for people to get in and do any observation right now. And the reality is we may have to waive it again for next year too. We're just going to have to see where that all goes. We have on here a personal statement that's actually not accurate. So we use a program instead called Kira Talent, which is where you type kind of a personal statement in there, but we don't have you upload that into OTCAS. And yeah, letters of recommendation, transcripts, and then the interview part here is this Kira Talent interview that we have students do. So it's almost like a virtual interview program, but it really allows you to kind of get a flavor of our program, and it allows us to get a little more sense of who you are. So
great.
And our application deadline is April 1st.
Yeah, here it comes, right? Absolutely. And you mentioned, OTCAS as the central application system. And so you did mention a little bit of that. Is there anything else here that you wanted to touch on just as part of that admissions process?
No, I think it's pretty much you hop into OTCAS and get started, and it kind of walks you right through the process. So,
great.
And then there's a supplemental UVM graduation application. But Kristen is really wonderful with keeping up on all of that stuff and reaching out as you start to submit through OTCAS. She's the one that'll reach out and say, remember you have to do your UVM grad application as well. So
keep on top of kind of the progress for people. That's great. Thank you, Kristen. And Emma, another great question. And we get this a lot too with the postbac program, which is a great question. Getting those those letters, and especially if you've been out and trying to kind of reach back and maybe you don't have the same connections or maybe people aren't there anymore. What do you recommend?
Emma, I think that is a really, really good question. And I wonder honestly if it's worth you and I having a phone conversation, because you've had a handful of really good questions where we could maybe problem solve and talk through a little bit some of the folks over the last handful of years where maybe you would have some sort of a relationship where that would work for a recommendation letter. So if you're okay with it, I think it might be worth us having a phone conversation about that, because I don't know if you're currently taking classes to, work on some prereqs. That could be an option. But it sounds like a pretty individualized type of question. So I think I'd like to see if I could snag your email and send you an email and reach out to you individually, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. And we will have a slide to make sure here in just a minute, Emma, too, and anybody else that has a direct email into our OT team. And so maybe that's a great method to do it, is have Emma email, and when we'll make sure that Victoria gets that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Isabel, I see your question. As an out-of-state student, I'm wondering about the culture and environment that Burlington has to offer. I love Burlington, and I love the entire state of Vermont, and I'm not here for originally. And it's kind of funny because I grew up in Wisconsin, which, by the way, I really do love Wisconsin as well. But I was really trying to ski. And when I graduated from college, I fired all sorts of applications out west because I was like, I really want to learn to ski. And then there was one job that really intrigued me here in Burlington. So I applied here, and I flew in and landed and saw this amazing view of the Green Mountains and Camel's Hump and Mount Mansfield. And I just fell in love with it. And it was kind of funny. I got the job offer and I accepted it before they even told me about any benefits, any pay. Like, this was my first job, right? So it was kind of funny. I thought, well, that wasn't the smartest move, but I did it, and here I am. So Burlington has just a great vibe, in my opinion. There's a street called Church Street, which is a very pedestrian street, and there's all sorts of shops and restaurants down there. There's a lot of festivals, kind of all year round, not necessarily in the springtime, but from campus, you can walk right to the waterfront. It's about a 10-minute walk. From campus, you can be in the mountains. They're not as big as the Rockies, but they're still very fun to play in. And that's about a 30-minute drive. So if you really like, if you're a foodie, if you really like, an active lifestyle, if you just like all of that kind of stuff, it really is a great place, in my opinion. But I'm also happy to put you in contact with other grad students if you're interested to learn a little bit more about their perspective on what it's like to live here. So I think that's a great question. And then Erin, I see, just speaking to this because COVID made getting letters difficult for you too. Okay.
A letter as a recommendation.
So
again.
Erin,
Yeah.
you're offering advice to Emma. Thank you, Erin. That was very nice of you. So.
That's what we like to see
great.
in our community already building here of our OTD students. Awesome. And great questions. And thank you both, Ellie and Victoria, for helping guide our students. And as we've mentioned a couple different times, those prereqs, and many times students are applying or they're inquiring about this, and Victoria sees, oh goodness, you don't have some of the prereqs yet. or people are just interested in this program. What do I need to do to get to that point to be able to apply? And so we're super excited that we have just recently launched a pre-OT track in our post-bac pre-medical program. So just wanted to make sure that everybody is aware that if you don't have all those prereqs yet, we have a specific track of curriculum that will help you get prepared to apply for UVM's OTD program. And there is a linkage agreement with the College of Nursing and Health Sciences where Victoria and Ellie and Kristen reside for the program. And some of the wonderful things that I think just also speak to the culture and what's so wonderful about the University of Vermont for people interested in the medical field is the connection to University of Vermont Medical Center, Level 1 Trauma Center. There's just so much opportunity for post-bac students, for OT, just people interested in the medical field to find opportunities to gain more experience, patient care experience, just sitting in on lectures in the medical school, just lots of opportunities for our students to immerse themselves in the health field, because we are connected to the Medical Center and the Robert Larner College of Medicine. And with the post-bac program as well, just a few other pieces, amazing community, and it sounds like we're going to try to replicate that over here at the OTD program too, just very supportive, wonderful community, a lot of opportunity for study groups and collaboration and subleasing and just really offering a lot of support. And obviously, if there's, learning communities and committee letters, things like that people have for the post-bac program. Our post-bac program, if you do need some of those prereqs, there is a little bit more opportunities to apply. The OTD, the application is April 1st. If you still need some of those prereqs, you could apply for the summer. You could apply to take some classes this summer, next fall, and then maybe apply for the OTD program the following April would be an option too. So just some information there for you. And so as we've mentioned a couple different times, email. So there's Victoria's direct email. Emma or anybody else that has a very specific question you'd like to connect with Victoria, there's her email. And also just the CNHS email is a really great one to get to, and just to make sure that, looking to speak with somebody in the OTD program as well, and just keeping an eye on that deadline of April 1st for the fall cohort to start. And fall doesn't feel like it's that close, but it'll come a little bit quicker. It's August 29th when it starts. So Addie asked if we're short one prereq, can we complete that over the summer if accepted, or should we have all the prereqs completed before the application? Great question. Victoria, you want to take that one?
Kristen just snagged that. I saw her typing
great.
There, so yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, and summer session, one of the coolest parts about that opportunity too, is the summer session courses are a reduced tuition. So you actually have the opportunity to save a little bit of money by taking that course through UVM in the summer as well, if you wanted to explore that. Oh, good. So Kristen's asking that. Looks like Addie's typing too. Were there any other things? And I know, Ellie, you were talking so much information about the field work. Was there anything else that, as we kind of wrap up, that we wanted to share with students tonight? I know you're both so excited to see all these applicants and these folks that are interested in the program.
I just wanted to add, we're really, really, really trying to progress your learning at a pace where you can make connections really quickly and in what you're learning, what the faculty is teaching you, what you're getting out of your text, and seeing it play out, as much as possible in real life. And I know that's been very difficult the last couple of years with COVID, but everybody, as Victoria says, in Vermont is really behind this program, and so there's so much support in the OT community in the state, and particularly locally in the Burlington area, that we know that our community partners are going to do whatever they can to help ensure that we help make that connection for you, and that's really where those aha moments happen for you, and we really want to make sure you have a lot of aha moments.
Thank you, Ellie. And I know Isabella is asking on-campus housing for grad students. I don't think so.
Kristen's grabbing
Yeah.
that answer here.
Yeah. I didn't think so. I was pretty sure. I wanted to make sure Kristen confirmed that, but there isn't on-campus housing for grad students. But what I find too is that, Burlington's a college town, right? And so there's lots of rotation of places. So and again, I see in our post-bac community, students offering and sharing information all the time with each other, just rooms and subleases and apartments that are available too.
And Isabella, we can, kind of steer you into where you can help start to look for some of those housing options. But Nicole's absolutely right. It's very much a college town, so we have different resources where you can look at to find housing. Yes, thank you. So.
It doesn't have to be right in downtown too. That's the other thing. A lot of students, there's lots of opportunities at places that might be 15, 20 minutes. And so it's a reasonable commute, it's not, an hour away. Maddie says, do child development courses fulfill the human development prereq requirement?
Yep. And I'm going to let Kristen handle that through the chat box because she's been pretty much managing that part of it. So.
Okay. Great. Awesome. Kristen, that's you. We're pointing to you on that one, Kristen. We are going to have another, just an FYI too, we are going to have another info session just like this one tonight. So we're going to have it in just about a month, I think on the, the 9th, are we doing, of March as well? We can follow up and we will send the recording from tonight, and I'll send a link to the next info session. If there's other lingering questions, other things that you want to talk with Ellie and Victoria about as well. And as I mentioned too, I'm just going to put back up that slide that has those email addresses for Victoria and for the College of Nursing and Health Sciences directly. Let's just see if Erin looks like maybe you might be typing one more question, but please do reach out. I think Victoria made that so clear. She's happy to talk to anybody, excited to talk to people about, individual questions that you may have as well. Just give another minute here to see if we can answer Erin's question. But thank you everybody for such great questions. Thank you so much for your interest and excitement. That I think you can see the excitement that's coming through of our faculty as well. So Erin says, there'll be another admitted student meeting, and will there be an admitted student platform at some point to see who else has sent a deposit and committed to UVM?
Yep. The admitted student one is actually next week on the 16th. That is at 7:00 at night as well. And
there we go.
That
sounds good.
Erin, I think that's a great time to start to get a sense of who's been admitted, and for even contact information to start being shared at that point, because these will be your first cohort students. So that might work very well, actually.
Great idea.
And
Kristen, thank you for putting your email address in there too if people have questions.
And we'll make sure, for everyone who's been admitted in the program, that we'll make sure that you guys will be getting that invite. Will be going out this week for next Wednesday at 7:00.
Awesome. I think our questions have quieted down. Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for such energy and interest and excitement about the program. Kristen, thank you for jumping in there. And yep, there's a link as well to the page if you have any additional questions, but please do email, give a call, reach out, and we'll share this recording and the link to the next session for the general questions as well. Thank you, Victoria and Ellie and Kristen, and thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
All right. Thank you.
Good night.
Have a good night.